An intriguing 90 minutes of action at the Craven Cottage. It ended 1-1, and Manchester United had at least a point in this particular fixture. I'm here with Force and Gideon to do the review of the game. Let me start with you, Force, your tactical analysis of the game.
Well, it's always no, you understand, because Ruben Amorim is not going to depart from the 3-4-3 system. But you see, my problem with the system is that it is not that elastic for the players. Unlike in the Arsenal game, where they were really convincing in interpreting the system against Fulham, I think they were slow, they were lethargic, they were poor, the decision making was not spot on. And at the end of the day, the fault should be given to the coach.
Okay.
But sometimes the players must take responsibility because you are playing for United. So tactically, I think that they got it spot on, but the interpretation was the problem, especially where he played Bruno Fernandes. I have always believed, and I'm a firm believer, that Bruno Fernandes should not have any responsibility in the defensive setup. You understand? I mean, no matter who pairs with Bruno Fernandes, he should have more leverage in going for it, because that is where he is most effective. That is where his arsenal, his skill set is needed. So you realize that there was a disconnect, or there's a disjointed effort between Matheus Cunha and then Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes should have been the outlet in the system, and then the positioning of Amad Diallo, because he was poor today, and the reason why he was brought in was to aid in the attacking third, but that was not existent as well. And then finally, you realize that in the second half, where they brought in Benjamin Sesko, the input that should have been given to him, you understand? I mean, the flanks, the wing backs, the idea was that they should put in the crosses. But I can count the number of touches that Benjamin Sesko had in the game, which is an indictment on the team as a whole, except Sesko himself, because he is there. You have to give him the balls.
Let me draw Gideon into the conversation, and Gideon, you take it from the angle where Manchester United scored their goal. I mean, we all thought I was learning Euro, but later did we see that the ball came from the back of Muniz, who is the striker for Fulham. Do you think that at that point in time, Fulham could have dealt very well with the ball, and that goal wouldn't have gone in?
Yeah, I think for me, there was nothing Rodrigo Muniz could have done, because when the ball came in, Lenny Euro headed the ball. Then I think his back was towards the ball, so the ball hit him at the back. So the reaction time was very, very thin. So there was nothing he could have done. And that, even though that was a poor goal to consider, I think there was nothing he could have done about it.
Okay, now we come to the goal, scored by Fulham, and whether or not the defenders of Manchester United were just looking on. We saw how Matheus didn't really mark his marker, and how Luke Shaw was also far off from his marker.
So I think with the goal, they allowed too much space between the centre backs. So when the ball came in, I think Matheus was marking Raul Jimenez, the striker. So he has taken Raul Jimenez out. So I think Luke Shaw or another midfielder, Ugarte, the number 6, could have followed Emil Smith-Rowe. But nobody was following him. They left him free inside the box, and he had the time and the space to score the goal. So I think that was a poor defensive communication between the defenders and the midfielders. They could have done better with the tracking back. Luke Shaw also, because he saw Emil Smith-Rowe running into the penalty box, so he could have quickly pushed him off the ball or something. But he watched him, and he was pushing on the responsibility to someone else, whilst he could have taken the responsibility, and he allowed him to
First, how do you rate Manchester United new base? Matheus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko, and Bryan Mbeumo.
Well, today I'm going to say poor. You understand? I mean, especially what's the name? Bryan Mbeumo, because his outlet last week was fantastic. You know, I mean, majority of the attack last week was through his channel. But today it was equally distributed along the flanks and through the middle. So you don't really see his input and impact into this game. And then Matheus Cunha was poor today. You know, last week he was able to fall deep into midfield, drive the ball. So even if the midfield was choked, he was able to get the ball up front on his own. He was not able to do that today. And then what's the name? Benjamin Sesko. I don't blame strikers too much if they don't get a service. You understand? If you get a services and you don't score the goals, then I have every right to blame you. But if you are denied of service, then I have no reason to blame you.
Great, Gideon. I mean, my very final question. Where does Fulham pick up the pieces from? For them, I think it's a morale booster, at least getting a point against Manchester United. But what does it do to their confidence going forward?
I think it boosts their confidence because in the past meetings at the Craven Cottage between Manchester United, they have lost.
Yeah.
So I think this one will be a confident booster for them. So they believe that they can go up against any team and at least gain a point or win. I think they could have won this match, because in the second half especially, they were all over Manchester United, and Manchester United couldn't find solution. So I think for Fulham, this is a confidence booster for them. I think they have 2 points from 6, I think. But I think they can build on from these performances onto the next game.
A reality check for Manchester United coach Ruben Amorim has just 1 point from 2 games. I mean, obviously fans will be disappointed, but where do they pick up the pieces? And what should we expect for Manchester United next week?
Well, I really don't know what is going to be expected of Manchester United this week, because last week they were hot. Today they were cold. You understand? So I really do not. I cannot predict the Manchester United that is going to turn up next week unless the game counts and we see what it brings.
Right. Thank you very much, Force. Thank you very much, Gideon. This has been our review of the game involving Fulham and Manchester United, which ended 1-1 at Craven Cottage. My name is Agron Hene Nanajao. Hope we see you next time.